Do you breathe purple and gold? Are you ready to hoist the colors? Now, time for the most in-depth look at the world of ECU athletics. Welcome in to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Watch the show live on Facebook and at 943thegame.com. Now, here's your host, Stephen Igo.
All right, welcome in to Hoist the Colors on this Friday edition of the show. Excited about today's program as we've got a lot to get to. Basketball, huge game coming up inside Minges Coliseum on Saturday afternoon between the ECU Pirates and the SMU Mustangs. We will preview that. We also have Joey Football in studio. He's back.
Yeah, I did not take the Alabama head coaching gig.
So you're officially back.
The grass.
Did you get interviewed, though?
Yeah, I did. Grass is always greener in Greenville. I'm sticking around. There we go.
He is officially a member of Team Boneyard for our radio audience. He has donned the hat. He has been given permission to take this hat home as well.
I have.
So you are officially
It's cleared.
A member of Team Boneyard. Are you a contributor to Team Boneyard yet, or just a hat taker?
I want to say I threw in 5 at one point during one of the breaks. I don't remember which one it was. It might have been when we first started up last in July or August. It was like, yeah, let me support the boys. Obviously, as a broke college student, some things are on the back burner, so to speak, as far as contributions come. But
donating to NIL money is, you got to have some extra income for that.
Got to have a little bit. Wasn't necessarily good enough to get blessed by Team Boneyard when I was playing, so have to kind of put that one on the back burner to contribute myself.
Well, it's good to have you back. We'll talk NIL and Team Boneyard, maybe some more transfer additions here shortly. We also have Philip Pilkington. He is producing today. Philip, how's it going, man?
Oh, it's good. Little busy in here. It's been a busy day, but it's good. Glad to be here.
Is it ever not a busy day for us?
You're not really.
Maybe in July. July is the one downtime.
I don't even think we have downtime in July because normally we're writing about position previews.
This is true. Position previews are a staple of July. Opponent previews. Recruiting.
Stephen Igo calling kids quality walk-ons.
Quality walk-on season is in July. Summer workouts. Yeah, so July, well, a long time between now and then. But
a lot of time left.
All right, let's talk basketball, guys, to start with. We are going to make our NFL playoff picks. We'll have updated selections and standings there as we continue to make our picks. College football season over as Michigan wins it all. And ECU was able to play the national champion and lose to them. I guess that's something. But it is what it is. So let's talk some basketball. As college basketball really take the forefront. And you guys just wrapped up the interview with Coach Schwartz. He met with the media about 30 minutes ago. So any big takeaways from that, Joe, as East Carolina gets ready to take on SMU tomorrow inside Minges?
I mean, obviously the first thing you're going to hear is a lot of respect for SMU. But this is a team
of respect
that he talked about has 5 losses this season. 3 of them came in one-possession games. So he said they could be a top 25 team. You're looking at a possible 13-2 season. Right now they're sitting at 10-5. This is a very good basketball team with 2 great scorers. They're much improved from a year ago, and they have a good challenge ahead. This is a defensive team that likes to do those things and limit you in transition and stop you from shooting the long ball, which is exactly what East Carolina is built off.
SMU, one of the best defensive teams in the country, and really – after a bad 2022-2023 season, I always get the basketball double seasons mixed up. They are in good shape this year, guys. They're honestly in the mix for an at-large, and it's very early, but they're 9-5, 38 top 40 in the net rankings for the NCAA. They are the second highest team in the net behind FAU. FAU is 25. SMU 38, Memphis down to 52. ECU, if you're wondering, is at 196. They were outside of the top 200 before beating Temple. So this will be one of the best teams ECU faces this season. They split last year. ECU won at home and then lost in Dallas. But, Philip, I think this is for me, look, this is a good Saturday tip-off time. Students are back in town. You're coming off 2 straight wins. There's no excuse for there not to be a good crowd on Saturday, right?
No, I couldn't agree more. When I thought last week Sunday was a great crowd. for Sunday afternoon, Week 18 of the NFL. There was a lot going on. It's Sunday. It's always less, so it's harder for people from out of town to make it. And that was a phenomenal crowd. So I don't see why it wouldn't be this week. It's definitely the more electric opponent out of the two that we're going to see in this brief two-game homestand as they will welcome North Texas on Wednesday. And the fact that, to your point, they've won 2 games in a row. One of those is on the road. This is their chance to win 3 games in the conference in a row for the first time since joining the American, and the opportunity to start 3-1 for the first time since, as Patrick mentioned on our video feed earlier, and we'll mention on the radio later, they haven't started 3-1 since he was a freshman in college here. This is a big opportunity. This is a team that's playing well. They're scoring the basketball better than I think they could have hoped. They're playing defense at the level that they believe that they are, and they're playing a team that is very good defensively as well. And in those defensive, gritty games, you need the crowd behind you. This is a huge opportunity, Pirate Nation. I understand there's an NFL playoff game at 4:30, but is anybody really a Browns or a Texans fan anyways? Come on, come out, support the Pirates. We need at least 5,000 at this game.
All right, we got Philip's video feed up today. It looks like you're in the Matrix, man. There's like all these
That's what I'm saying.
There's like all these things going on behind you.
He's behind himself, too.
It's just a really crazy looking thing going on.
Looking at himself straight away.
It's a cool setup in there, though.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
Kind of gives you the idea that Philip is a really busy man behind the glass, which he is. And we appreciate your hard work, twisting all those dials and making it work behind the glass, as he's kind of like a DJ in the Matrix. So he's doing his thing back there, setting up multiple cameras. All right, so looking forward to the game tomorrow. And here's my concern with this game, guys. ECU, first off, they've never won 3 games in a row in the American, so that is my concern.
That is a cause for concern.
It still just boggles my mind. But ECU had a very efficient offensive game from R.J. Felton, Ezra Sarr, Brandon Johnson. That's pretty typical of Brandon Johnson. He's efficient. R.J. and Ezra are high-usage offensive players that usually are not necessarily consistently efficient.
No, they take a lot of shots, and they don't always make them.
Right. Like, RJ has a tendency to go like 5 of 15. In the last game, I think he was like 8 of 12 or something like that.
12 sounds right.
So I doubt you're going to get, especially against a good SMU defensive team, that much of an efficient offensive game again from your big 3. So how do you combat that? You got to have a great defensive effort. You got to hold them probably to the 60s, I would think. And then, to me, you got to have somebody else step up and score some points. So what do you think about that, Joe? You're probably not going to get that offensive effort again, so how do you find a way to come out on top at home?
I think the first thing you have to do is realize that you have to win the rebounding battle. This is a team that's top 10 in offensive rebounding in the country, and when you have those second-chance opportunities like that, that's where the points are going to come. When you're playing a team like this who's probably going to hold you to 65 points max, in my mind I'm seeing 65, 63 type win, one-possession game just because of how this is going to be built out. You need to win those second-chance attack points, and you need to get on the boards. Brandon Johnson likes to play a lot in the wing. This week we're going to have to see him play underneath a little bit more. Got to be that guy underneath the post. Callum looked great last, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday.
The Temple game Wednesday,
Wednesday. So looked great against Temple. I mean, he's getting his feet back underneath him. He starts to look the part again like a center. If you can get those 2 big guys down low, somebody comes up and on the wing. I mean, you're going to miss Quentin. He's still out a little bit. He could give you that kind of pop as far as a bench guy who could give you 7 points out of the break, try and even things out. But I think it just comes down to second chance points between Brandon and Callum.
All right, we got audio from Mike Schwartz, and let's run that. As Philip gives me the thumbs up, you guys were over there, and let's hear what Mike Schwartz had to say after practice today.
Really good SMU team coming in here. I think as good as a team as we've faced all season long. Honestly, I think they're a top 25 caliber team. You look at their schedule. I have so much respect for Rob Lanier, their coaching staff, and their players. They're sitting here at 10-5 with 3 one-possession losses. So could very well be 13-2 and have won games. First Florida State, West Virginia, just a really good team. The Memphis game, the first conference game, had an opportunity to go into Memphis and win that game, and obviously lost on the last second shot. So just a very, very good ball club.
I know wins count all the same. They're all one win. But when you see a team that prides themselves on defense a lot like your team as a coach, do you get a little extra giddiness to measure yourself against a team that mirrors yours so much?
I get a little bit more nervous about our offense. We play a team that is that good on defense. No, they're a great defensive team. I mean, 36% field goal percentage defense, holding teams. I mean, they're top defensive team in the country, what they're doing in terms of points allowed, field goal percentage, the way they guard the three-point line. Yeah, no, I mean, obviously we just had practice, and we really just got a one-day prep, a true one-day prep versus them. But we know, again, this is as good as a team as we've seen all season, and particularly on defense.
Last game, it seemed that you guys let up 10 offensive rebounds, but it seemed every offensive rebound you let up, it wasn't a quick shot attempt. Your defense got to set up and force them to rerun their half-court offense. SMU offensive rebounds very well. Is there anything you can take from that game, or is it a total different situation because they don't get a lot of their offensive rebounds on the three ball?
Great point. Exactly. Totally different situation. Temple was the highest volume three-point shooting team in the conference, number 13 in the country. We knew going into that game, long shots, long rebounds. So a lot of those rebounds were around the elbow, were at the three-point line. They were loose balls going away from the rim. We're about to play a team that's the 13th best offensive rebounding team in the country, and they do it with big forwards, big guards, post players, and they rebound around the basket and they put it back in. So we understand what a challenge that is, but it is two totally different types of offensive rebounds. But in the end of the day, regardless of the defense that's played, you have to secure the defensive rebound, and it's going to be a real challenge for us, Saturday afternoon because of how good SMU hits the offensive boards.
Coach, you got shot real well the other night, and it ended up being a win. Do you feel like that's something that can kind of carry from game to game, or is it just a every night see what kind of happens thing?
If I knew the answer to that question and I could predict that we would shoot the ball again Saturday, I promise you we'd do it. You hope so. In the end of the day, the name of the game is the ball going through the basket. And when you shoot the ball well, like we did the other night, I mean, it was great, obviously. I mean, Cam Hayes makes threes, Brandon makes threes, Bobby makes threes. I'm probably forgetting, somebody in there. RJ makes threes. We put the ball in the basket, and we shot at a high percentage. We shot over 50%, and we haven't had many games where we've shot it like that. So we work on it every day. The guys put time in the gym on their own. We work on it in practice. And, it paid off the other night. Unfortunately, it's no guarantee what's going to happen tomorrow afternoon. But, yeah, sure, I hope we shoot the ball well again.
Phelps decided to come back, and then Chuck Harris got added to that roster, and that's a pretty good backcourt. So what kind of challenges do they face with your backcourt?
Yeah, I think it is as good of a backcourt as there is in this league. I mean, you talk about Zurich Phelps, and we know, he can go score it on all three levels, and he's a dynamic driver. He plays. He's got incredible speed in transition. He can just score the basketball as good as anybody. He gets downhill, and then Chuck Harris is shooting the ball really well. He can get downhill. I mean, he's can play with the ball in his hands, can play off the ball. I mean, and they got B.J. Edwards from Tennessee who holds it all together for them. I mean, he's averaging 4 assists a game, and he does a good job. And then they got forwards and bigs. You got Sam Williamson that caused us a lot of problems last year. He's a talented former McDonald's All-American that can really score the basketball at the 4 spot. So it isn't just Zurich and Chuck Harris. I mean, those two guys are dynamic guards, but they're a complete ball club.
How much has Cam Hayes kind of like shook the rust off and starting to look like Cam Hayes?
I think you can definitely tell that now whether it's 5 or 6 games, whatever he's in. I mean, I think you've seen the last 2 games. He's much more comfortable playing. I've always said this. I give Cam so much credit because remember his very first game defensively on the ball versus Florida, he really impacted our team. And slowly but surely, you can see him getting more and more comfortable on the offensive end, playing with the ball in his hands, shooting the basketball. Hits 3 huge threes for us the other night. He hit a big 3 versus Tulsa. So that's a big thing for us. He got the ball. He drove the basketball versus Tulsa. So we know Cam, and I've said it in every press conference I've had, Cam can score the basketball. He can shoot the basketball. We have the ultimate confidence in him. We see him do it every day. It's just a matter of he was playing November and we're in January, but I think he's catching up, no doubt about it.
We know there's a difference in being in shape and being in basketball shape. Callum's obviously been cleared for 5 or 6 days now. How is his conditioning progressing?
Yeah, actually I'm really proud of Cal because, to be off that long, I mean, he was off for 2+ weeks prior to the break. He hadn't done anything. And he came back, and I thought in his first practice he was cleared. We pushed him. He played in the game versus Temple. I thought he gave us good minutes. I thought he was good in practice today. He's definitely, obviously, as you said, he's not back to where he's going to be. But I'm really proud of Cal. I'm excited to have him back, and, he's going to help us.
All right, welcome back into Hoist the Colors. That was Mike Schwartz, the voice of the ECU men's basketball head coach again. 4 p.m. tip-off, big game inside Minges Coliseum. Should be a good crowd on hand. Even Winston Wright Jr. was messaging me earlier asking how to get tickets. So the Florida State transfer, he'll be making his Minges Coliseum debut, it sounds like. So looking forward to that. And, again, SMU, really good basketball team. You got the Mike Schwartz-Rob Lanier connection. They were both on staff together at Tennessee, so these guys know each other well. Should be a good matchup tomorrow. Looking forward to that. All right, let's switch gears, talk ECU football real quick. We have not had a chance to discuss this with Joey football. Looks like Jake Garcia, although not 100% official, it's basically 99.9% official. He will be transferring to ECU, barring something happening at the last minute. So he'll be in the quarterback room. He will be the second quarterback transfer, joining Caton Hauser. And we said all along that ECU had to add a second quarterback transfer because of what's in the room now. It sounds like Alex Flynn, I know he was in the team meeting, so he's still with the team right now. We'll see how this news changes that. But to me, you had to get 2 guys, and they got 2 guys. And what was kind of your initial thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, this is about the best you can do, considering the circumstances. You want somebody who has that kind of experience and has been through the fire. And unfortunately for Garcia, he hasn't necessarily played, but he has been in multiple programs. He knows how things operate. He knows how to be the older guy in the room and kind of guide you in those situations. You're bringing in Hauser. Hauser's a redshirt freshman. He's going to be a little green as far as that goes. I mean, you're looking at somebody who's young. He hasn't led the program yet. He hasn't been that guy in the room. And then you go to Garcia, who is, I don't know what year he's in technically eligibility-wise, but has been in college now for a good bit, knows how to operate, knows how to treat a room, knows how to handle that kind of thing. And with John David Baker being the quarterback's coach now as your offensive coordinator, I really like the move. There's no career backups in college.
What's interesting is all 3 of the guys, if you count Flynn, have played about the same because Flynn started 9 games. Hauser last year started the last 7 games. And then Garcia in 22 at Miami played in 8 games with 1 start. So, they have all kind of played the same amount, and they've all been very up and down in tough situations. And for me, it's, all right, who's going to now – who has the most talent, A? And then who's going to be the best fit for John David Baker's system? Right. So, this spring is going to be – a lot of fun to watch.
It's going to be an exciting spring for sure. I mean, I don't know how many scrimmages are going to be open to the public this year after the whole Connor Stallions thing and those kinds of things. I don't know what the NCAA is going to rule in that case because I think it was one when I was playing was allowed open to the public, and that was the spring game. And even then it was just no recording, no media, no nothing like that. People were allowed to be there. So we're going to hear a lot of things. I'm sure we'll get a little bit more of a sight just between some practice photos or something like that and try and decipher it. But there's going to be a lot of competition that people aren't expecting.
To me, this has to be a true competition, Joe, at least between I don't know what's going to happen with Flynn. I mean, JDB didn't recruit Flynn, but he recruited Hauser, recruited Garcia. Last year, Mason Garcia got the number 1 reps. There was not a true competition. So, to me, don't you at least have to start with the guys getting 50-50 number 1 reps? If you want to have a true competition and make it to where a guy has to go win it, doesn't that need to be the approach?
Yes and no. There are certain situations where if you have a guy, you might go Garcia or Flynn because they have more experience as far as being in that kind of program, and then the throwing and all those skill development things kind of play into that as well. But from what we used to do, you'd kind of run with different squads each day and see how you meshed. Either you were with the 1s today, the 2s, or the 3s, and then see how you can command that. And then from there, you'd move up. But that's never an indication. If you go 2 fields, you can go an A field and a B field. You're just kind of getting different guys, seeing how things mesh together. But I don't think it necessarily needs to be 50-50. You could have one guy be the starter one day, one guy be the starter the next, and one guy be the starter the next after that, and then see who kind of handles that pressure as far as the 1. And then from there, make your decision on who's 1, 2, and 3 going into your scrimmages.
And then you're going to have the moving parts around them. You got to figure out the offensive line. You got the guys coming back. You've added some transfers. You got the incoming receivers. You got receivers coming back. Running back room, we don't really know. like Rajay would be the favorite, but to me that needs to be an open competition too.
Got
So like
young tight ends now. that are
tight
gonna get
ends,
some
you
real
could add an
experience.
older tight end too. So it's like it's just a lot to sort through.
There's never a dull
You're going to need
moment.
more than 15 spring practices, I feel like. They might have to squeeze in some extra workouts. Just don't tell anybody about it.
no coaches allowed.
2 a days.
What'd you say?
days?
2 a days, baby.
No, they outlawed that these days. So now you just have to have
Like I said, you have,
optional
coach-
skill development.
Yeah, it's optional skill development, and your butt better be there. And then you have a third one where the coaches don't show up.
Then
It's
the
like-
offensive
it's like in
coordinator
high
may or may not
school-
be standing on the roof like this.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys did it, Joe, but in like high school, I remember like first week of January, we had like 40 dudes show up. There were no coaches. The coach didn't even know about it. Like seriously, didn't know about it until like somebody mentioned in the weight room, "Hey, we're practicing today." Because seriously, it was just a text that like went on over Christmas break, and then the coach was like, "Oh, I might have to rearrange the weight room, which I can see the practice field from the weight room." That's what's gonna have to be.
There's definitely the text you get in the group chats like, "Hey, coaches want us to throw today, but they can't be out there." But that's nothing against it. There's no rule against optional skill development or anything like that. Holton was really good at kind of getting those guys together.
I've heard that Hauser has already kind of organized a few of those as well, so that's a good sign. By the way, there was a coach, Ruff McNeil, hired that had to get fired because he was watching special teams optional drills behind the bushes. So
Behind the bushes.
Behind the bushes. True story.
That's great. That's how you build a program. You have
Dedication
coaches
right there.
hiding in the bushes, worried about kick-up times.
That's what it's all
That's
about,
what it
man.
takes.
All right, let's get a break in. We got some questions on YouTube we'll get to about the transfer rules and, what happens if the quarterback loses the battle in the spring. Does one of them transfer out? So we'll get into that conversation a little bit. This is Hoist the Colors. We'll also talk about the coaching changes around college football and the NFL as well. We'll be right back on HTC on a Friday.
It's Greenville Toyota's winter wrap-up event. Wrap up a great deal on over 100 pre-owned vehicles, starting under $15,000. We have all makes and models, including luxury. Plus, wrap up a huge warranty and no-charge maintenance. Hurry into Greenville Toyota.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked to order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you farm to fork beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to fork beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Hey, grab me one too.
When a place is as special as this, you don't want to change a thing. You simply want to enjoy it, just as it is. That was our inspiration behind Bow Coast West, our newest community in Beaufort, North Carolina. Embrace all that we love about this very special place and make it easy for families to enjoy all that this coastal lifestyle has to offer. Be inspired. Bow Coast West.
It's Greenville Toyota's winter wrap-up event. We're wrapping up the year with our biggest savings. Shop new Camrys and RAV4s, $289 a month. Need credit? Get pre-qualified today. Wrap up a great deal with payments from $289 at Greenville Toyota.
Climb aboard as we set sail and hoist the colors.
matey!
Back to the show with Steve and I go on 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back into Hoist the Colors, Friday edition of the show, wrapping up the work week. We got a couple questions on YouTube here to answer. We got ECU SMU tomorrow, Saturday, 4 p.m. inside Minji's. Fellas, who is going to be representing 94.3 The Game inside Minji's Coliseum?
Dominic Kasolki.
Yeah, Dom.
Well, I'm in studio.
Where are you guys going to be?
I am the in-studio host for the ECU Sports Network.
And Philip?
My parents are going to be in town, so I'm going to be attending as a fan again.
Wow, second straight weekend.
Yeah.
You were getting after it pretty good last time. So
I know, yeah.
Well lubricated.
Yeah, so it'll be fun. I don't know if my parents have ever been to a ECU basketball game. They've been to a couple football games, been to some baseball games. So.
What a one to be at.
I know.
Possibly conference champion SMU.
This is like, this worries me, guys. ECU basketball, when a game feels big.
You do remember what happened in 2020, though.
Houston?
Yeah.
Well, nobody was there.
We
Nobody
beat the number
expected
one
it.
team in the country, Igo.
I think they were number 5.
They were 5.
Point is.
They were number 1.
They were 1 at one point.
So who all was there? Let's see. You were there, right?
I was not there. I was on vacation in Charleston.
Was Wags there?
Wags was there. We had one of our other interns there.
Yeah. Ben Byram was there.
Ben B. Baby.
There was like 5 people there.
Yeah. I think Bailey was there and maybe Mark Lindsay, and that was pretty much it.
We gotten out of either a spring ball practice or something like that because a bunch of guys were like on the glass like this trying to see in.
That was just one of those magical games where ECU hit every open three, and that doesn't happen a lot. And ECU in these types of games, home crowd hype, struggles to shoot the basketball. So they're going to have to find a way to either A, reverse that or win a defensive game. Look, I would love to see it. I just get worried about these games. Maybe it's just me. I've seen it too often. I was worried.
I've seen both sides though.
I was worried Wednesday they wouldn't win a road game, and they dominated the game.
We beat Amani Bates in Memphis when they came.
That
with
is true.
Penny Hardaway.
Where's Amani Bates at now?
Eastern Michigan, I think.
Philip, look that up for us if you don't mind.
I think he's at Eastern Michigan.
Kason O'Malley says he'll be there.
There we go.
So he will be there for Hoist the Colors, and honestly probably a bad thing too because when he shows up, the Pirates usually play bad. He was at NC State the other day rooting for the Wolfpack. That turned out great for the Wolfpack, so maybe Kason is the problem. All right.
So, hey, Amani Bates did go to Eastern Michigan. He is now with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Wow. Is he playing?
Let's see.
Was he in France last night?
I feel like he's got to be in the G League.
What, did they play a game in France yesterday?
They played in France. They played the Nets in France.
Oh.
Paris Levert went off.
You see how much I've been paying
His name is
attention
Karis.
to
See what
the
I did there?
NBA. Oh, I'm seeing college career statistics.
So no.
Probably not.
Womp womp.
Right side on YouTube says with the transfer rules, could a player technically sign in December and transfer out by the fall? Yeah.
Yeah.
They could transfer out by the spring.
Half of them could transfer
Yeah,
out.
I mean, there's a lot of guys that have already signed last December. Like Zion Agnew signed as a freshman last year. He's already gone.
Yeah, he's at Lenore Ryan now. And there's been plenty. There have been guys who have signed in December, gotten on campus in January, and left by what would have been today, the ad drop date.
They're just not cut out for it.
Off topic, but Bates has played in 11 games this year. So it's like they say he's active. I just don't think he dresses because you have 15 active guys and only 12 get to play.
I have no idea.
That's what it is. So he's played in a handful of games.
There you go. Aaron Watson says, does the other quarterback transfer out after naming the starter? He's talking about between Garcia and Hauser. If I'm the coaching staff, I don't name one till preseason camp.
No, I don't even think you name one in preseason camp. What's the first game? What time?
It is Norfolk State.
Is that a nooner or is that a 4 o'clock?
It won't be announced for a while.
Whatever it is, whatever the time is, add 1 minute. That's the starter. That's how they'll play it.
Can we just not go through the thing where we name both guys a starter on the pregame or the pregame video? Like last year, it was starting at quarterback for East Carolina, Mason Garcia and Alex Flynn.
I think the video board should just say pick one.
I would be fine with that. At least say or
Ty Little.
Ty Little is back. Maybe we
Little.
weren't talking about Ty Little enough, the walk-on quarterback. So I don't know. It's we'll see. But yeah, you got to be careful because if you bring in both these guys and one of them leaves after spring, you're in the same exact situation.
Yeah.
That you were in last
I don't know.
year, basically.
I mean, the new rules are so different. Does Garcia have another year after?
So
this
Garcia is already a multi-time undergrad transfer, but he's transferring in this window, which allows him to be eligible. But the NCAA may just push it so all multi-time transfers can transfer as many times as they want. That's supposed to be decided later on. But he technically has.
You have 2?
He's got at least 2, maybe 3 years of eligibility.
Okay, so then he could transfer out because I was trying to think if it was in his cards to actually get into a program, but he has time. So he could, but I don't see it happening.
We'll see what happens in spring, and we'll see what happens for Raheem Jeter, Cole Hodge, Alex Flynn as well. So it should be an interesting spring nonetheless. All right, coaching changes. We've got a few minutes here if we got to get a break. Nick Saban, Pete Carroll, Bill Belichick, all that news happening so quickly.
Mike Vrabel.
What was the biggest surprise to you, if any?
The biggest surprise had to be Vrabel. I mean, there have been talks now all season about Belichick moving on and the 24-year marriage ending in a divorce between him and Bob Kraft. Saban was always talks of the grind and how much longer could he do it. The Pete Carroll one was a surprise, but not necessarily unwarranted considering his age and they don't make the playoffs. I mean, he's done all you can possibly do as a coach, and same for Saban and the GOAT, which is Nick Saban and Belichick as a combo. But Vrabel was a shock. I mean, this is a guy who came off an AFC 1 seed at one point, had an MVP candidate at running back, won the division 3 times, and over the last 2 years, based on a new GM who didn't bring in the personnel he was hoping for, has kind of fought with different pieces. So I wouldn't have expected the words fired to have come across the desk, but we've heard that internally they tried to trade him and it was too complicated, so they just released him outright.
Where do you think Vrabel ends up? Do you think there's a favorite, or is it just wide open?
Personally, Seattle makes a lot of sense. A good young defense like that with a player's coach who's now left, and that kind of culture and the atmosphere of the locker room. The people in Philly are going to hate this one, but I think if Philly loses Monday, which I anticipate they will, I think Sirianni, they move on from him fairly quickly, and I think maybe Vrabel fits into that kind of culture with a player-led team and some older guys who know the business and are looking for that kind of oomph, for that edge. That makes a lot of sense. And then it's going to sound crazy, and I know Philip's probably going to punch a wall if I say this, but the Panthers makes a lot of sense. It's not a team that has a great draft future, but there are pieces, and if there's one guy who can kind of handle Tepper and keep him at bay, I think it's Mike Vrabel.
All right, Alabama still searching for its next head coach. There's been a lot of buzz about Kalen DeBoer canceling his local radio interview in Seattle for the obviously the Washington head coach, so he's seems to be in the mix.
Yeah, as after I turned it down. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, so Joe was candidate number 1. We know Dan Lanning was candidate number 2 after Joe.
Yeah, grass always greener. Okay.
Who do you think? Do you think it ends up being DeBoer? Do you think there's a shot Dabo at all goes there? Kiffin? I mean,
I think the Dabo days are done. Everybody who wanted Dabo, those dreams died 2 years ago when he gave up on NIL. And Tommy Rees is the long shot internal candidate. I don't see that happening now with Bill moving on from New England. You could see a Bill O'Brien move again that brings him back to Alabama. He's got ties between both of those coaches. They know him well. I think the real runner in this is the sleeper, Michael Locksley from Maryland. He's done so much with so little. He was the offensive coordinator for Alabama when they won 2 national titles. He has a great feel for what Saban did, how that program runs. I think he's got an outside chance to do it. I don't know if he wants to leave Maryland. Maryland's a great fit for him.
And it looks like Norvell is staying at Florida State based on the fact their director of athletics just tweeted smoke coming out of with a handshake agreement.
For those of you who don't know what is on this screen, when a new pope is selected, they have different colored ashes coming out of a smokestack. But when the same one stays around, that's what that is on Twitter. So Mike Norvell is staying at Florida State because they've not selected a new pope on this GIF.
It appears that everybody is just using this opportunity to get a raise and an extension. Because
Steve Sarkisian just got a raise.
Honestly, who wants to follow Nick Saban?
Nobody.
That is a brutal job.
Nobody
it's a great job, but it's a tough job.
I've gotten yelled at. Is it still a top 5 job without Saban? Now that the recruits are going to leave, you got a 30-day window for them to leave whenever they want and be eligible immediately. Does it have the same weight it used to with Texas in the SEC now, with Georgia doing what Georgia does, with Oklahoma now coming to the SEC also? I mean, Lane Kiffin, you could go transfer and play in the SIP right now. Does it still have the same weight?
I think if you hire the right guy, yes.
Yeah.
I guess is.
But if you hire Tommy Rees, I think that was bad for a long time.
I mean, if Lane Kiffin went there, or if even Caleb DeBoer went there, I feel like it stays there. But if it's Tommy Rees or whoever,
James Franklin.
If it's James Franklin, definitely not, because they won't win a single big game.
No.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And then after that happens, you're going to have dominoes fall.
Yeah.
As a result, so this coaching carousel will continue on due to the timing of Nick Saban's departure. All right, let's get a break in. We'll come back. We'll transition to NFL playoff picks. We have got 6 games on Wild Card Weekend over a span of 3 days. We'll make those picks on the other side. This is Hoist the Colors on a Friday.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
Fifth Street Hardware is the home of the $9 lunch special Tuesday through Fridays. $9 specials every day, including the famous Burger Day on Tuesdays, Flatbread Pizza Wednesday, the famous Fifth Street Hardware Reuben on Thursday, and fried fish or shrimp on Friday. Plus trivia on Wednesday nights and live music every Thursday nights. And the Prime Rib Brunch Buffet has returned on Sundays. You heard that right. The Brunch Buffet with all the great items, including prime rib. Fifth Street Hardware in downtown Greenville.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's Cut in Color. And let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
We're live with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
Hoist the Johnny Roger!
Now, back to Hoist the Colors.
It's Hoist the Colors on a Friday. It is time to make our NFL picks. We've talked East Carolina basketball, previewed that game, upcoming SMU, 4 o'clock. We've talked coaching changes. We've talked transfer portal. Let's talk about the playoffs, fellas. And let's do it by updating our standings. As I think Philip may have just died behind this.
You good?
I didn't know that picked up over the air. My mic was off. Sorry about that.
Oh, no.
I think we just heard it.
Then maybe it was just so loud we heard it through the door.
Philip just almost collapsed back there coughing.
Flu game.
Speaking of Phillip, he is leading our picks. He is 97, 85, and 6. I'm 3 games behind, 94, 88, and 6. Joe is 7 games out of the lead, 4 games behind me, but he has steadily improved. 7-4, 9-2, 6-5, 4-2 is
Don't
his
call it a
record
comeback.
over the last 4 weeks. He is 90, 92, and 6. Almost back to 500.
Don't call it a comeback.
And so we're going to make these picks through the playoffs. 6 games this week. I've got ground to make up. Joe, you got to basically go perfect to have a shot. I got to go perfect to have a shot, realistically, as good as Phillip has been. So let's dive right into it. The Browns are a 2-point favorite at the Houston Texans. I could be coy here and go last, so I could always pick opposite of Phillip, but I don't know. These two teams played in the regular season at this location, and the Browns crushed them.
Yeah, but those are 2 very different teams. I mean, at the time.
Were they, though? Wasn't Flacco the quarterback?
I don't think Flacco was the quarterback. Yeah, right. That was P.J. Walker.
Let me look.
I thought it was very recently. But
I don't think it was that recent.
Either way, I'm going Texans. I think the Flacco magic is bound to run out. I think Houston is going to play well in the opening round. I do love their defense, so that worries me, especially with Tank Dell being out. But I'm going to go Houston at home.
Yeah, it was Flacco, but Davis Mills was the quarterback for Texas. CJ
that's what it was.
There you
I
go.
knew there was an asterisk.
CJ Stroud back. Give me the Houston Texans. Joe.
Well, the smart pick would be follow Igo. But I'm not smart. So I'm taking the Cleveland Browns. I think the Flacco magic continues. I think given what he has, and if Amari Cooper can play and be what he was for Flacco before those last 2 games of the season, the Texans don't have an answer for him in the secondary. You could put Stingley on him, and then all of a sudden David Njoku's running free down the sidelines for 85 yards, and then Jerome Ford has been a revelation as far as running backs go for them. I like the Browns a lot, and I like them at home. Or on the road, I mean. Not in Cleveland. Phillip.
You know, right now, Tom Brady
definitely
has 7 road playoff wins in his career. That's tied for the most with Joe Flacco, who's going to break Tom Brady's record on Saturday and get his 8th career road playoff victory. Give me the Brownies.
It's because Tom Brady never played playoff games on the road.
True. This is extremely true.
And he never won in Denver in the playoffs.
Nope.
By the way, this game will coincide with ECU SMU. If y'all had a gun to your head, had to watch one or the over the other. ECU basketball or NFL playoffs?
I'm picking Pirate basketball.
I might lose my job if I answer.
Okay.
I answered for us, guys.
I mean, then we know your answer. Yeah, I mean, you're already dead. You might as well just say the truth. So, all right, Dolphins, Chiefs. Chiefs 4.5-point favorites. This line has gone up in favor of the Chiefs as the weather report has come out. It's supposed to be, what, like -4 wind chill or something
Possibly, they said to -30 with the wind now. It's supposed to be the coldest game ever recorded. And there have been some cold games in Lambeau.
It's not going to be colder than the Ice Bowl. Ice Bowl was like -12.
Phillip, look it up. I'm so serious. The weather advisory is concerned it will be the coldest game ever played.
Somebody died during the Ice Bowl in the stands. So
the Wolfman is still loose in Kansas City, so maybe he'll come back from bank robbing.
So the Dolphins had their shot, guys, and they blew it. I mean, they had their shot during the regular season, and they're definitely not going to win this game. And I think the Chiefs are going to roll. Give me Chiefs -4.5. Joe.
I have never seen the Dolphins play a good game above a team or against a team above 500, and I've never seen the Dolphins play a good game on the road this season. And never mind when it is -30 degrees in Missouri. I like the Chiefs. I like them a lot. I think that given what Pacheco was able to do during the season, the Chiefs have found their stride in the run game, and I think everybody's going to be concerned about Patrick Mahomes throwing across his body. That Pacheco goes for 110, Clyde Edwards-Helaire goes for 85, and the Chiefs win like 34-7.
Make it a clean sweep. We're all going KC.
Steelers are at the Bills. This looks like another potential snow game, at least lead into the game. Bills, 9.5-point favorites. I like the Bills to win the Super Bowl this year, guys, but 9.5 is a lot for a playoff game. And the Steelers, I know they're without Watt. They just seem to find a way to hang around in these type of games. So I'm going Steelers to cover, Bills win. Joe.
I feel the same way. The Steel City has my back on this one because Gabe Davis is out. Jordan Poyer is out. There is no bigger swing for what the Steelers needed than to have Poyer and Gabe Davis both be out. You have Watt out, but you still have Alex Highsmith able to do those things on the edge that gives your boy Cam Hayward a chance in the middle to cause havoc in the backfield. I think playoff Lenny goes home crying, the Bills freeze over, and the Steelers take it. Phillip.
You know, I want to make fun of you for saying that, like I did on Patrick's show the other day when you picked the Steelers, but today you look like a thug that might put a cap on the side of my head because that's what you're dressed like right now.
I don't think we can say that. I'm Cheddar Bob from 8 Mile.
You know, I said it. I didn't use any of the 7 words of radio that you can't use. So I'm not going to make fun of you for picking the Steelers to win outright, but I do think the Bills win outright, but I think the Steelers cover. So give me the Steelers on the plus 9.5.
So is that technically a consensus pick?
Yeah.
Yep.
Ah, boy.
And you have the Steelers outright.
I have the Steelers outright.
Wow.
I believe. Mason Rudolph. Rudolph in the snow.
Zero way Mason Rudolph beats Josh Allen in Buffalo.
Have you seen Josh Allen play football?
I mean,
Josh Allen looks like he plays football blindfolded.
He will throw 2 interceptions, and then he'll make 10 spectacular plays.
Yeah, and then the Steelers win like 27-24 on a field goal.
I'll believe it when I see it. Packers at Dallas. Cowboys are favored by a touchdown, and they're at home, and so I'm not a big believer in this Packers team. I know they've played better down the stretch, but I'm going Cowboys here. I think they get it done by a touchdown or more. Joe.
If there's 2 things that will always stay the same, the Cowboys don't win the playoffs at home, and Mike McCarthy doesn't win playoff games. Give me the Packers. I believe in the floor. I can't believe I'm picking Jordan Love, but I think the Cowboys are pretenders. Phillip.
I think the Cowboys cruise in this one. It's wild card round. That's the one round they can win it in.
This is the one round they win.
Yeah, I'm going Dallas.
Well, remember what happened last time the Packers went into Dallas?
That was like Aaron Rodgers. That was
Jordan
Here's
Love.
the thing. You got to also remember the last time they went into Dallas, it was the divisional round. And the Cowboys can't make the NFC Championship game. They haven't made the NFC Championship game since '95. If they win this week, they don't automatically go to the NFC Championship game. The curse is not a wild card weekend.
We'll see. We'll see.
I mean, hey, dude, they should have beat the Lions, but they should have beat the Lions the week before the Dez catch, or should have lost to the Lions. But the refs picked up the pass interference call. They should have lost that. They all whine about the Dez catch. They shouldn't even have been there. They find ways to win in the wild card round, man.
Rams at Lions. Speaking of the Lions are favored by 3. Matt Stafford returning home. This game scares me if I'm a Lions fan. All the hype, first home playoff game in years. Matt Stafford coming back. You know he's just itching to light it up. But Jared Goff is also going to be very motivated. And I think Jared Goff is going to light up the Rams. Give me the Lions at home to cover the 3. I'm taking Detroit. Yeah.
Good people of Detroit, hear me when I say this. This is your chance. This is your moment. Matt Stafford died for your sins. This is his comeback. This is the resurrection. But this time, Jesus doesn't come out of the tomb without a fight, and that's because the Lions take it to him. I've never seen a lion beat a ram in a fight, and that doesn't happen this week. Dan Campbell and MCDC's boys get it done. Give me the Lions.
I am actually going to take the Rams to cover because I am predicting.
Why was that so polite?
Because I am predicting a last-second game-winning field goal by the Lions. They win it by 1, 2, or 3. I'm actually predicting we all push this. I think it's like 24-21 game-winning field goal. So I'm going to actually take the Rams to cover in this game, but the Lions outright.
I do think this is probably the best line.
This is the best line.
I mean, of the weekend. It's just hard to pick. Sports Samurai Chat Show, by the way, is weighed in. He says Cowboys by 17. You heard it here first. So he is on the Cowboys.
We'll hold you to that.
Really looking forward to Rams-Lions. Really not looking forward to Eagles-Bucks.
You're right.
I have zero interest in this game.
What? You don't want to watch former Carolina Panthers quarterback Baker Mayfield?
No. I don't want to watch. I'll be honest, guys. I'm not going to watch this game. I'm going to watch Apple TV. I don't know what I'm going to watch on Apple TV, but I'm going to watch something on Apple TV.
Is that a shameless plug?
That's
a plug.
It is. Instead of, I just like Apple TV's setup. I don't know if y'all noticed that.
It's a great interface.
It's just like a great interface, man.
Like, actually, let's take a moment. It's a great interface. The boxes are a good size where you know what's going on.
It feels good to scroll through Apple TV.
There's a nice feel for it. I agree.
It doesn't feel good to scroll through Eagles Bucks.
It's a good take.
I'm going to let y'all pick this game first. Joe.
Baker Mayfield.
Eagles by 3 is the line.
Baker Mayfield and the Bucks. The Philly is dead. The Pretenders are alive. And Rocky would be ashamed to see the Eagles do what they have done. Ever since they lost to the New York Jets, they have looked down on everyone else. And what's happened? Rain, sleet, or snow, the Eagles train to lose. Jalen Hurts gets his butt kicked. I watch Baker Mayfield throw for 3 touchdowns. Mike Evans goes for 100 yards. And the Buccaneers walk the Eagles off the field in Raymond James. Philip.
My Anson Belton buckle lock of the week is...
What are you, Vince Papali?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I'm picking the Eagles, though. They bounce back, man. They cruise.
Is Jalen Hurts' his finger okay?
He hasn't thrown a football since he dislocated it.
It'll be fine. I've played with a dislocated finger before. You'd pop back in.
Were you a quarterback?
No.
In the National Football League?
No, but I did. It was a playoff game.
Unless they're running 45 brotherly shoves for 450 yards, there's no shot. You have to throw the ball. Against Todd Bowles, might I add, is one of the better defensive coaches that have been around in the last 10 years. Won a Super Bowl as a coordinator down there with this same squad, might I add.
Igo's just rolling his eyes at both of us.
No, Igo is actually currently searching.
I'm actually Google searching Jalen Hurts' finger.
It's bad. If your finger goes like this, that's not how it's supposed to look.
Hey, man, he's a winner. They'll find a way to win.
Yeah, okay.
I still haven't made my pick, but let's do some behind the scenes here. So Philip just texted me and said, let's go 3 segments. What time does that mean? What time do we need to get out of here?
53:20.
Oh,
Okay.
so I have 2 minutes to rant.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll just do that. So we'll wrap up the show here.
You know what? Anson Belton Buckle, lock of the week. Baker Mayfield, 2 touchdowns. Mike Evans, 100 yards. Lock it.
I'm reading this, and I'm just... Jay Clark, NBCS, says, I'm told Jalen Hurts did not throw the ball much at all, if at all, yesterday.
I'm
what a
telling
tweet, by
you.
the way. Much at all, if at all.
If at all.
This is a tough injury. Hopefully he will be able to throw before heading into the game.
And if
he can't even throw the football.
That's my point.
He can't even throw it.
Marcus Mariota's going to start a playoff game for you?
What year is it? And Buckle Lock of the Week. I'm with Joe. Tampa Bay Buccaneers win outright. And the Buccaneers somehow will move into the divisional round as the NFC South craptastically wins a playoff game. So give me the Bucs. God, disgusting that I just did that. So we got dueling Anson Belton Buckle locks.
Yeah.
Mainly because I forgot that I was supposed to make an Anson Belton Buckle pick. But
had to wait till the end.
If you Google Jalen Hurts' finger,
it's bad.
A lot of bad stuff coming up here.
This isn't. I don't even know the last time. Would have been when Marcus Mariota threw a touchdown pass to himself that he looked himself in the playoffs. This is not the year for it. This is the year of the backup quarterback, but not the year of Marcus Mariota.
And the Eagles just lost to the Giants. They got smoked by the Giants.
The Eagles
right?
look terrible. Nick Sirianni's getting fired.
You know, Igo used to be this big bounce back guy. Now here we are. Darn playoffs show up.
I know.
No longer a bounce back guy.
I'm usually a bounce back guy.
They were 10-1 at one point.
I think they have just died. They pulled a Phillip.
Yeah.
You can't.
I'm still here.
You
I might
can't
have coughed
bounce
up a
back
lung.
if you're
Still
dead.
here.
Beat the Bills and died.
All right.
Anyway.
NFL playoffs, ECU, SMU coming up as well. Scott Rogers randomly walking in.
Scooter off-camera pick. Eagles or Bucks?
Eagles.
All right.
There you go, Scooter.
On the Eagles. We're 2-2. All right, we got to get out of here. We'll be back Monday. We're scheduled to have Carter Cunningham, Trey Savage from ECU Baseball in. We'll talk to you then, 12 noon on Monday. See you.
Air Service is back at Pitt
Colors with your host,
offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked-to-order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
When a place is as special as this, you don't want to change a thing. You simply want to enjoy it, just as it is. That was our inspiration behind Bow Coast West, our newest community in Beaufort, North Carolina. Embrace all that we love about this very special place, and make it easy for families to enjoy all that this coastal lifestyle has to offer. Be inspired. Bow Coast West.
Hey, grab me one too.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport. Storm season is approaching. North Carolina weather can damage your roof, and before long, a small leak can turn into a big problem. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so protect it with Wells Home Improvements.
We work with all insurance companies for a hassle-free roof installation experience. Call us today and get 10% off your roof installation when you mention this commercial.
252-227-8403 or visit us online at wellshomeimprovements.com. Wells Home Improvements. Local, honest, dependable.